But so let's just walk through this together, right? So if we're blood that's being pumped out of the heart, and so we're oxygenated, we've come from the lungs, we're being pumped out the left ventricle. The first artery that we're going to encounter, do you guys remember what that is? It's this big artery. The aorta, right? And so specifically, so here's the aorta right here, and specifically this part here where it curves, that has a specific name.
Aortic arch.
Yeah, aortic arch, right. And so then that curves and travels down caudally into the abdominal section. And so that portion, yeah, is called the descending aorta right there. So just don't want to really destroy the lungs, but you can see right there.
Which one?
That large
okay.
artery right there. It's the aorta, descending aorta right there. Okay. So the first branch off the aortic arch is an artery, you guys remember, it starts with a B?
Brachiocephalic.
Yeah, brachiocephalic, right. And so that supplies blood to the right arm and to the head. Okay, and so on this little diagram that we have here, this is the arterial system in the anterior position, and so we have the aortic arch right here and the brachiocephalic. Okay? And so off of the brachiocephalic artery, which is right here, you see that large artery, we have a couple branches. So the first branch right here, you can see, coming off the brachiocephalic right there, and that travels all the way up into the head. And so do you remember what that guy is called?
Oh, is it like
Yeah, carotid, yeah.
Carotid. So that's the carotid.
So that's the left common carotid artery.
The right or the left?
The left, right? Because we're looking from,
Okay.
like if little Mr. Katz. Right? That's the left side right there. Okay, and then the next large branch that you can easily see coming off the brachiocephalic right here is the right common carotid artery right there. Okay, so there could be a pin through here or up here, and those are the common carotid arteries. Okay, and so this is the brachiocephalic, and that artery then branches into an artery that travels out towards the arm. Right, yeah, so that's the right subclavian artery right here. And so, well, it's inside the thoracic cavity, subclavian. As it exits the thoracic cavity,
axillary?
Yeah, axillary artery, yep. And
Which
then,
one?
so right here, so as it leaves the thoracic cavity, it's now the axillary artery. And then as it enters then down into the arm, brachial artery, exactly. Yep. And so on the diagrams up here, you can see that then, remember, two arms, so one on each side, right? So subclavian artery becomes axillary, becomes brachial. So the second branch off the aortic arch, we have brachiocephalic, and then this next one right here.
Is that the right or left subclavian?
Yeah, so it's, if you remember the orientation of this cat, it's going to be the left,
So the left,
yeah, left subclavian artery. And that again then runs towards the axillary and then towards brachial. So there's a couple other arteries that you'll need to know for the exam. And let me run and grab another cat that still has the rib cage intact, but there's two arteries and they've been cut here. But one is right here and another one, so you can see the little stump of it right there. And then another one is branches off the subclavian. It should be right there. You can see the little end of it right there with a little latex dye sticking out. And those are called the internal mammary arteries, and those run along the ventral side of the rib cage and provide blood to the rib cage. So I'll tell you what, I'll find a cat that still has a rib cage intact and I'll show you how those things run down, but just know that they branch off right there. And so I think there's two more arteries that you need to know. There's the vertebral arteries, and those branch off of the subclavians, and so here's one right here, and so here's the right vertebral artery right here, branching off of the subclavian, and it branches off near where the internal mammary artery branches off. So you should be able to identify that. And then there's one other one that's very small, and it's a little bit hard to identify, and it's the subscapular artery, and that branches off near where the subclavian becomes the axillary artery. And so you can see right here, this right here is the subscapulary artery right there. Okay, and I believe that's all you need to know for the anterior arteries. Yep. Okay, and the vein